Winnipeg Jets fans are livid at this as we see one of the worst calls in Stanley Cup playoff history go against them. We're also going to break down one player on the other side who is doing the unthinkable, things we've never seen from a player in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 72% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening around the league, with the Dallas Stars, with the Winnipeg Jets, all the series that are going on right now, be sure to go down below, hit that free subscribe button, and again, you get to stay up to date with everything going on around the league. But Casey, let's dive right into it. I mean, everybody's talking about it at this point. Like, one of the worst calls. I'm just going to say it right now. That's my opinion. One of the worst calls I've ever seen in the playoffs, because it is so easy to get this one right. And, we'll take a look at the rule book in a second, but obviously, as everybody knows, after looking at all available replays, this is a quote from the NHL Situation Room. Video review supported that the referee's call on the ice that Connor Hellebuyck propelled the puck into his own net. Now, did Connor Hellebuyck put it into his own net? Yes, but I'm not sure that's the rule, right? So we'll get into it. But Casey, what are your thoughts on this? I'll throw it over to you right away on this call, because personally, and we can get into it more, I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sure all NHL fans can agree that the refereeing in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year has been ridiculous at times, and we've seen this with this goal. I mean, you look back at this clip in slow motion from every angle, you can see Petrovic do his best Cristiano Ronaldo impression and kick the puck into the net. And the reason behind this being Hellebuyck redirected it into his net is ridiculous, because you see this guy nowhere near it. It's clearly kicked into the net, and the fact that this went to review and it's still standing as a goal is crazy. I can't believe it. It was like, you're looking at it and it's like, how do they make this a goal? Because it's so clearly a kicking motion, because at times we see these calls be so hard to judge because sometimes it's just the way they're skating. But in this instance, you could see Petrovic clearly redirect his foot into this puck, which ended up in the back of the net.
Yeah, he kicked it into the net. Now, I know it hit Connor Hellebuyck's stick and went in, because obviously he's trying to make the save because the puck is propelled towards the net. But he kicked this in the net. He kicked it towards the net. It's a kicking motion. When they called it a goal, I was watching this in real time. I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe I missed something. Maybe there is a rule in the rule book that says, if the goaltender touches it or whatever, it doesn't count. But if you take a look at the rules, and everybody out there, we'll get to some thoughts from Elliotte Friedman too. If you want to pause and read the whole thing, this should not have been a goal. It really shouldn't. And now I'm wondering, is it up to the referee's discretion? But if it is up to the referee's discretion, why do we have a rule book, right? Because then you can just call whatever you want in any game, depending on how you feel that day, which I think is just, can't run a league that way. So I think that it was absolutely ridiculous. If you're a Jets fan this morning and you're upset, you're absolutely livid, I'm with you. I think you should be, because this game was stolen from the Winnipeg Jets. It was a tie game before this happened. They went up 3-2, and then obviously Rantanen scored another one 4-2 right after that. It was a great goal, but I mean, really changed the outlook of the game with this one. So I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Again, like I mentioned, if you look at what Elliotte Friedman said, the reason it took so long was the amount of replays that were requested. The on-ice officials felt strongly the puck was not illegally kicked, which is insane to me, because it was definitely kicked towards the net and then put into the net by Hellebuyck. But the thing is, like, he's trying to make the save, right? So even if it was kicked, Hellebuyck propelled it in as opposed to deflecting it. When I read the rule book, I thought it was no goal. There are reasons for it, basically, is what he's saying. So absolutely ridiculous in my eyes that even Elliotte Friedman read the rule, said this shouldn't be a goal, and then they said because Hellebuyck touched it, it is a goal. I think that's ridiculous. So Casey, any final thoughts before we move on to our next topic? Because I think the NHL got this one wrong, and man, they're getting a lot wrong in these playoffs.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. I mean, we've seen some crazy calls, especially a couple games ago in the Toronto-Florida series, the embellishing call when a guy got crushed into the boards. I mean, we've seen some crazy penalty calls. Now we're seeing some crazy no-goal or goal calls that should have been no-goal calls. So they really need to take a step back, the league does, and have a look at this and say, hey, we need to be on our refs a bit more, and they got to start getting some things right, because they have been ruining a lot of games. Like you said, this game could have went the other way. This really started to tilt the ice in the favor of the Dallas Stars, because if this is a no-goal, it's a tie game. It's a completely different outlook on the game for the Winnipeg Jets than it is at, if they're down by 1 goal. So it sucks for Jets. I mean, they go down the series because of this. So hopefully we can see them bounce back. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what comes of this and see if they can kind of get that little bit of momentum and get that fire underneath them saying, hey, the refs are against us. Maybe we got to go out there and just do it for ourselves.
Yeah, if there's one thing we know about this Winnipeg Jets team from this year, they're not going to collapse because of this. This is only going to fuel the fire even more, and they're going to come back with a good performance. But like you said, I mean, the officiating league-wide right now, it almost seems like the Florida Panthers and the Washington Capitals, just to name a few, are playing by a different rule book sometimes, and which is just absolutely ridiculous. And to go even further, I'm going to say it almost seems like the Canadian teams are playing with a different rule book as well. So that's something to keep an eye on as we go towards the end of the playoffs here. But one thing I wanted to dive into here too is Connor Hellebuyck. Despite that, hasn't been good on the road this entire playoffs, and now he's kind of figured it out at home. We've seen that, right? Especially with a shutout in Game 2 and a good performance. But he's now allowed 4+ goals in 8 road playoff games this year. In his last 8 road playoff games, I should say, he has a 5.83 goals against average, which is just ugly looking. An 8.27, not that much better, and they just continued through that Game 3 in Dallas. And as you can see here, on the road this playoff specifically, he's played 4 games. He has 4 losses, a 7.72 save percentage, and a 6.65 goals against average. He's been awful on the road. So Casey, I wanted your take on this as well. This is a problem for this Winnipeg Jets team, that's for sure. The kicking goal, yes, absolutely, that changed the course of a game, but he just hasn't been good on the road the entire playoffs.
Yeah, it's so crazy to see this guy get a shutout and then, look shaky the next game. It's like you think he has his mojo back. We're saying here, the Hellebuyck that we know and love is here to play in this playoffs. And then he does the exact same thing as soon as they head onto the road. It is very tough to win a playoff series when you can't get a win on the road. You need to steal one. We've seen Dallas steal one here in Winnipeg. So, they now need to steal one in Dallas. They need to go out and win this game if they even have a chance at moving on in this playoffs. And the reason they need this is Hellebuyck just needs one. This guy has been so horrible on the road. I hate to say it because this guy's one of the best goaltenders in the league. But when playoffs time comes around, it's like he's a different goalie. His regular season, he's a beast game after game. And now in the playoffs, we're seeing him have a good game. We're seeing him have an off night. It's all over the place, hot and cold with this guy. I think he just needs to find his game and get into a zone, because right now he's all over the place, and I think a lot of hate is coming on this guy, which I think may be creeping into him as well, hearing stuff from the outside. But I have no doubt that Hellebuyck is one of the best goaltenders in this league. He just needs to find, that level of game and consistently in the playoffs. And he really needs to go out there and shut all the haters out next game and get a win.
Yeah, the next one is absolutely crucial for him. Not even the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, if you go down 3-1, we've seen it before. You can come back. It's obviously harder, but the next one is crucial for Connor Hellebuyck. And like you said, if you can't win, I know they won the President's Trophy, so if they went to the Stanley Cup Final, they would have home ice through the entire playoffs. But if you're going to 7 games every series, you're going to run out of gas. So they have to figure it out on the road, that's for sure. But last thing here before we wrap up, Mikko Rantanen. They got to find a way to shut him down. I don't even think they can at this point. Like, this guy's been unbelievable. The goal he scored last night to make it 4-2 was like insane, just where he put the puck. But anyway, Mikko Rantanen in his last 6 games in these playoffs, he has 9 goals, 17 points. He has 2 game-winning goals and 2 hat tricks. I mean, he's been unbelievable. So again, before we wrap up here, what are your thoughts on this, Casey? I mean, this one's mind-blowing. Like, the players in NHL history to record 9+ goals and 8+ assists over a 6-game span in the playoffs. Mikko Rantanen this year, and Wayne Gretzky in 1982-83, and that's the list. Like, it just insane company and what Gretzky was doing back then. So what Rantanen is doing, like, I don't even know if they can shut him down, but they got to try to control him because he's been unbelievable. Do you think they can, or is this just something, this to me looks like a man on a mission, like, I'm going to win the Stanley Cup because of what happened in Colorado?
Yeah, it's ridiculous to see this guy having a performance next to Wayne Gretzky. I mean, who would have thought that heading into this playoffs? I mean, Mikko Rantanen, there's no doubt about it, has been the hottest player in hockey since this playoffs has begun. And we're seeing it continue into this series against the Winnipeg Jets. And to your point, I don't think anybody is stopping this guy. I think he is just on a mission. He's cruising to the Stanley Cup so he can shove it down the throats of the Colorado Avalanche's front office, saying, if you kept me, this could have been us. And I think I love to see like a little villain arc from Rantanen here, because he is playing great hockey. Unfortunately, it is against the Winnipeg Jets. Hopefully they can find a way to shut this guy down, but I can't see it happen. He's making moves happen that we have never seen out of him, and his shot has been ridiculous. 9 goals in 6 games in the playoffs? Are you kidding me? There's nobody stopping this guy, Darius.
No, he's been otherworldly is the word I'll use at this point, and it's going to be a very intense game 4 because the Moose is on the loose, and the Winnipeg Jets need the former Manitoba Moose to step up in the next game as well. So we want to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. Are the Winnipeg Jets going to come back in this series? It's only 2-1 at this point, but again, that game I feel like was kind of thrown away by that missed call. But let us know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything in the NHL.